So let's try this. A little bit. Okay. So if it's short like that, we should be able to. Maybe need a second one. Okay. Hi, per the driver. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my other one going. Today is my accountability without self-punishment. It's 6 weeks. This is the second one. The core idea is reframing accountability, right? How we can show up for ourselves without punishing ourselves, allowing ourselves grace, right? I keep trying to use the mouse. Hold on, give me 1 second. Apparently, I cannot type and talk at the same time. So I'm going to give myself grace and just get it done. There we go. I'm just trying to. There we go. Okay. Now that I might have it together here, give it 1 moment. I do my TikTok and my YouTube at the same time for now. As the communities get bigger, then I will separate them. But the most of it started on TikTok and then got moved over here. So I have my people that are on there that really like these messages. So I try to and keep everything cohesive and easier for everybody to find, because in the process of learning these small little bite-sized steps, it makes things a lot easier. Welcome, Jess. I'm just going to give it like 2 minutes. Everyone kind of come in, say hellos. Welcome, Artie and Dijuna. Welcome. So this week, see, reframing. Welcome, Jason, too. So basically, it's roughly about an hour. I try to do a little less, and I'm going to pull cards at the end. I have a gratitude deck. I have my Beyond Lemuria, which is really great for grounding emotions and actually gentle action steps at the end. Angel numbers always, because I'm guided by those. I'm 25. Oh, honey, I haven't been 25 in 2 decades. So I'm sorry, sweetie. I appreciate it. Really cute, but it'll never work. Thank you, though. Meg, welcome. Shema and Chevy, welcome. Montage, welcome. So pull a couple cards at the end, because I believe in letting spirit confirm the message. And the idea is just finding small, simple steps. I have grounded, guided journals. I have some reflecting stories, things like that on my website. If at any time you want to go check it out, there's lots of free content there too, but you can go to my website at creativelyguided.ca. That's where my handmade teas, tinctures, all that good stuff are, my art, heart-led stuff, right? We're learning how to heal without punishing ourselves. We're learning how to be accountable without beating ourselves up. And I'm going to give the most perfect example. So my daughter has some special needs, and we've been working on getting her all these appointments, and it's crazy the things you have to do to try and find a pathway to help a child that is struggling or has some concerns, and with no diagnosis, it's even harder. So there's just that constant battle of trying to find what works, right? Which I guess that's what we're all doing in life anyway. But so being a small business owner, trying to do the content that I do, which is a huge part of my business, because I believe wholeheartedly in what I'm doing. And eventually I'm looking to do some sort of nonprofit where, can go and speak and do things that are going to help empower people in ways that allow them to learn for themselves. So we're not just feeding them. We will feed them in emergency, but we're teaching them how to feed themselves, how to do the things that they need for themselves. And that's really important. And to do that, I have to practice, I have to build, I have to learn for myself. And I had to walk through the fire 1,000,000,000 times until I understood it 1,000%. Welcome, Lola and Steve, KK, Julie, Ryan, and S. Welcome. So, my Vars, good morning. How are you? I hope you're doing well. So, the first thing that I can say is I was going to do it on Friday. There was a change in her school. Now I had to pick her up early. There was some changes, things that happen, mom life, whatever. It is what it is. And then I was feeling really rushed. And a lot of these, we don't like to put our kids on video, right? Like once in a while, she'll sneak and pop in and she'll be like, hi, because she's really cute and she just loves to say hi to people. But I try not to do that because we're on the internet and Lord knows some of the wonderful, crazy people that can be on here. So welcome, Yes, and Frank and Melanin. Welcome. So I made the decision, instead of being rushed and trying to get this message out and feeling like anxious and stressed out, $100 equals 50,000 TikTok coins. I don't know what that means, but welcome. Welcome, Shanti. Why would anyone want 50,000 TikTok coins? Anyways, so I decided, you know what? I'm talking about giving ourselves grace and understanding that I can do this without all that stress and without all the aggravation and the frustration and just wait until Monday. And that's what I decided to do. And I'd rather spend that time with my child. And I gave myself grace, like before, where I would be like stressed out, anxious, worried. I'm not getting it on time. I'm learning that as things change, it's okay to change it because I'm still showing up. I'm still getting the message out. And that's why actually in the month of January, I stopped putting on all of my ones before, I would say on Friday at this time, at this time. And the reason I stopped doing that was because being a single mom and trying to build a business and your content and all the things that you have to do in this world, with a child that has extra emergency appointments, this appointment here, when you hurry up and wait and then everything comes through at once, and what are you supposed to do? You're going to say, sorry, I have to work on my business? No, you're going to run for your baby because that's what you do, especially when it's anything that's on the pathway to help her. So instead of punishing myself, I said, nope, I'm going to wait and I'm going to show up Monday so I can do it properly, right? So I took that time. I spent it with my daughter, who has a little less anxiety going back to school. I got her to go today, and she's happy, and that's wonderful. Good morning, Fairbricks. How are you? I hope you're doing well. So I really learned how to kind of get organized and say, I'm accountable. I know I need to do it, but this is something that I love to do. So if I'm going to do it, I want to do it when I feel good about it. Hi, Ethereal. How are you? Soul Tribe. I love that so much. I feel that. Y'all are my people. I don't think you understand how much y'all are my people, and I appreciate you for that. Welcome, Charmin and S. So, and understanding that grace and accountability can coexist at the same time, right? Instead of punishing myself, I said, nope, I'm going to do this, what works for me. Which for a long, long time, I did a whole lot of running. What works for you and you and you and you and you and you, and have to do a backflip here. And I got tired and I was burnt out, not about giving the message, but about trying to find a way. And I found that I was dragging my ass. I wasn't getting it done. I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do because, one, if something went sideways, it was because, I have a daughter. I have to run. I have to do this. My time, allotted time to get my work done, which this is my work, but it's not. It's what I love. So when you find that balance, when you're struggling, it's like, I don't want to be rushed. I don't want to punish myself, and I don't want to punish those people that are coming for a message that very clearly a lot of us need to hear, because we run and run and run our work, our business, our kids, our family. And then at the end of the day, we're burnt out and we're like so exhausted. When you try to get up, you're like, but if I could just sit for 2 more minutes, right? And then not even allowing ourselves those 2 more minutes a lot of times. And that's my own example. I can't say for everybody else, but I'm quite sure that we all have those moments, right? So, the idea of this message today is that accountability is very important. The good, the bad, the ugly, we always need to be doing it. But understanding that grace and accountability, Grace, by the way, is my daughter's name, which is kind of funny. But they can coexist at the same time. We're not punishing ourselves anymore. We're saying, man, I don't have the capacity today. I don't have the energy, and I don't want to do something half-assed. That's not saying that we're going to do nothing. They're saying, I understand this isn't the day for me to go live and interact with people and deal with people. This is the time where I need to nurture myself. I need to figure out what's going on. Sometimes we're a little emotional. Sometimes we just can't do it. And I just want to say, I spent so much more time kind of getting to connect, watching other people's content, getting to know, joining some lives, chit-chatting. And at first I'm like, I'm wasting time here. What am I doing? And I started to kind of punish myself. And then I was like, no, I'm being present and I'm meeting people and I'm getting to know them. And I was looking at some of your stuff last night and I really do like it. I fell asleep watching it though. So I didn't even get to comment, and I ran this morning, but I will be going through it. I absolutely love it. You are my people. I love the way you look at things. I love, how you're about being supportive. Toke man, welcome. Thank you for all those likes. I appreciate that. Um, so learning to understand that and not punish ourselves. I wasn't doom scrolling. I wasn't doing these certain things that were like hindering, right? I was being present. I was learning. And of course, when you have more and more people show up quickly, it's hard to keep up. So learning to say, nope, I'm not going to punish myself. I'm going to just be present and I'm going to get to know and I'm going to enjoy these messages because I need them just as much as everyone else does too, right? I hope you're doing well. Michelle, welcome. Nikki D, welcome. So the reframe here, I did the little thing talking about how I didn't do Friday and why I didn't and why I stopped putting the date on there. Because once a week, there will always be, I'm building these little ads, all the little stuff that I kind of have going on as we go. And I don't know if you see them or not, if you follow me, but I always have my posts. They're 3 or 4 days, and each has a little sentence on it. Very simple, just the pictures, little sentence, and then a voiceover. And the idea is we're planting seeds. And if just one little piece of it sits with you, if it sticks, then it's something that you need. And it's not even about punishing yourself or digging that deep yet, right? You can dig as deep always as you want to. But if you look at it at the end of the day, if you just ask those questions and you get curious, you allow yourself that space. We're just planting seeds, and we're doing it from a space of love, not from beating ourselves up, not from punishing ourselves, just for showing up and checking in on ourselves, right? Welcome, Preet and Viola. Good morning. So, this was the perfect example, and that's why I explained it what I did, right? I didn't cancel because I was lazy. I didn't cancel because I failed. I adjusted because rushing would have violated my peace. It would have made me show up half-assed. I wouldn't have done a good job. Oh, good morning, Ricardo, my favorite person. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So I didn't want to show up rushed or scattered, half present. I wanted to show up intentionally. I wanted to make sure that I was here and had the message to give, right? Grace doesn't cancel responsibility. It changes how we carry it. Invite people to notice how this feels in their body as they hear it, right? Like, how do you want to do that? How do you want to show up? Do you want to be half-assed? Do you want to struggle? Do you want to hinder yourself? No, you want to be here. You want to be present. So when things are rushed, allowing yourself that space to do it, and allowing your space the capacity for all of the people that show up, even when they're, if they try to pull at your strings one way or the other, if they try to get you out of your center, you got to make sure you have the capacity so you don't allow that, because we all get tired. We all have things going on in life. And that's called being accountable for yourself, right? Uh, Inner Beauty, welcome. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. So I just want to understand, like, notice how you feel. Check in with yourself and see what's going on, right? Grace isn't avoidance. And that's a really big distinction. So I have my notes, and I take so many notes as I do it because I want to make sure that I'm getting the key points across, right? Avoidance is disappearing, numbing, ghosting yourself. It's not showing up. It's not checking in. Grace is staying in the room with yourself. We're not punishing ourselves. We're checking in. We're saying, okay, things change. I had to adjust, and that's okay. I could adjust and do it half-assed and show up not wholly and not be present as who I am. Then people don't get the real me. They don't get the authenticity. They don't get the presence. And to me, the presence is the most important thing that we can have. Walking on sunshine, I like that actually. Welcome. Billy43, welcome. Manpreet, welcome. Good afternoon from Wounds to Winsome. I met you recently on another channel. You met me on another channel? Welcome. Oh, through one of the lives? Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. And that's what I was just talking about too. Understanding that when we do things, allowing ourselves to be present allows us to meet new people, right? And you have to bear with me because I had a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I went from like 20 or 30 to like 80. I think I'm up to 80 subscribers, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it's exciting. And trying to get to know everybody, it takes patience. But I was super excited about it, and I love doing these on the source. Yeah. Yeah, I love they're very inspirational. They support each other also. And from there led me to so many others. We have Novelty, Red's Room. They're so supportive. And that took me to go. I can't even tell you. I've just been following the nudges and following the vibe, right? And to do that, we have to be present. And I almost was mad at myself. I was like, oh, you're there. You're kind of being lazy right now. You could be doing other things, but you're here listening to this message and talking in chat and doing those things. And then I was like, no, but I'm being present. And that's what I really was happy about. I learned how to reframe that. I wasn't doom scrolling. I was learning. I was listening. I was getting to know people. And I'm finding my tribe, right? I'm finding the people that genuinely believe in these things, that understand that this is important in life. And trust me, I had to walk through the fire 5,000 times before. So I was so professional at it, so good at it. It became like breathing. And that's why these little ones that I do here, the weekly ones, are just bite-sized pieces. If we take just a little bit and we can digest it, understand it, use it, we can always do it. And coming into February and March, Inan, welcome. Good morning. How are you? Then we can use that moving forward, right? And the whole idea is learning how to alchemize emotion, right? So when we reframe how we're thinking things and we're not punishing us and getting stuck into all of the craziness, we allow that space. How are you? Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't like to come half-assed, which is what I was discussing just a few minutes earlier. So that's why I stopped putting the dates and times. I refuse to do that anymore. Every week, usually on a Friday, but like I said, I have a daughter that has some extra needs and a lot of extra things that have to be done. And instead of punishing myself or giving you guys half-ass, I want to make sure that I'm accountable, but I'm allowing for my capacity and the ability to show up and be that space of love. And have time. If there's questions, if people want understanding, little chit chat, just saying hi, allowing that space for that, because it's really important. If we're gonna build something, I want to build it around who I am, what I believe, and of course, always learning from other people, because I believe everyone has a message, and everyone can teach us the different lengths of strength and courage and innovation and curiosity and wisdom is just it's immense. here, especially now because of the internet, right? We can literally connect with so many people, and there's always something to learn. And that's the most exciting thing that we could ever have. So grace is not letting yourself off the hook. It's refusing to beat yourself up at the hook, right? It's saying, no, I understand that this was my capacity, and that's okay. It's allowed. Good morning, Novelty. How are you? I'm still on a laptop because I'm on TikTok too. Until my communities get a little bigger, I've been doing it one at a time. Again, things are changing as we grow. We do what we do. We're winging it. We're winging it with love, but making sure that I can show up and be present, right? So, oh, I have to connect with you. I wanted to send you an email. Maybe if I get your email or whatever, so I can do that, because I love the interview idea and I think it's great. I am not that talented yet, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But going on would be fantastic. And it's a great idea. And I love what you do. Thank you so much for that, and that's really sweet. I appreciate that. So avoidance sounds like I'll just not think about it. It doesn't matter. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't matter. Well, it's eating me alive. Well, it's stressing me out. Well, it's making me feel anxious. We don't want to do that, because then we're just packing away. We're not processing it. And then we're just weighing ourselves down. And every step moving forward just gets heavier and heavier. And we're not doing that anymore. So grace sounds like, this matters. I need more time. I'm not feeling great. Something's happened. It feels heavy. Yeah, I'm super stoked. I love what you do. I think you guys, I was just actually talking about everybody in great ways, but I was just saying, I've been meeting so many great people along the way. And it's just been huge. I think I'm telling you, I had I think 7 subscribers for a couple of years. Didn't understand how it all works. And then you're meeting people and I'm so excited, right? But there's so many, and trying to get to everybody and show love is a lot. But I'm consistent, if nothing. I show up every day. So good morning, Logo. How are you? So what I wanted to say is, when we create that space and we check in, we're not punishing ourselves. We're saying, this is our free time. This is our space. This allows us to say, I'm just choosing a better container. I care about it. I just have to give myself that little bit of time. I need to adjust. I need to say, okay, this matters. What is my top priority, right? My daughter is always going to be number one. And yeah, I'm so happy too. It's been exciting. I'm still on a laptop. I'm trying to figure it out. Not everything works perfectly, but I'm okay with winging it. We roll with punches, and it's about showing up. And it's showing up as long as you can hear me, as long as you can see me, even on my beautiful days. Yes, I know. I have a laugh, but as long as you can see me and you can hear me and we're doing good, that's all that matters. I get the message out. I get to share. And thank you so much for that. I have my days, but today I brushed my hair. We did really well. I even put on a little mascara. I don't like to overdo it. So, but yeah. So talking about what I was speaking on before, I didn't beat myself up for changing the date. I didn't punish myself. I understood I had the capacity. I had to adjust. I had to understand what came first, right? My daughter, she's priority. And if she's struggling and the school says, well, you got to pick her up 2 hours earlier, yeah, that takes from my work time. But that gives me more time with my daughter and another pathway where I can find maybe an extra tutor, maybe something that is going to work with her instead of keeping her in defeat mode, right? Because that's not what we're doing. And my daughter, whose name is Grace, actually taught me that I needed to give myself more grace. I'm easy to give everyone else grace. That's I was a people pleaser for my whole life, which it is a wonderful intention. It is such a good thing, but it can be so abusive, and especially towards yourself. It can just be so negative because it's easier to put yourself to the side and understand in the understanding that you don't matter. And what I'm pushing for really, really pushing for is for all those people. And even if you do it just 1%, the idea is I'm trying to teach you, you need to stop. Giving is a wonderful thing. Loving other people is a wonderful thing. But if you're not there, um, and you're beat down, roar out, your flame is running, you can't show up, then what happens, right? How are you going to show up for those people you love? How are you going to what are they going to do without you? So if you really want to be that person, we're going to start checking with ourselves first. So my first ones, if you go back to my other content, was fire and flow, and we're peeling back the layers. Okay, we're understanding triggers. Giving yourself grace is so hard. Oh, I know. You don't have to tell me. I know that we beat ourselves up. We have, and here's the thing. This is one of my biggest things that I talk about, and that was in the last one from last month, Grace and the Grind. Um, would you hold yourself to that? Would you hold someone else to that standard? Would you yell at your kid or beat them up if they're not doing something perfectly? Would you punish a stranger if they're struggling? Would you go help them? Like, how do you treat other people in that situation? I bet it's much kinder than you treat yourself. I know me personally, right? Like, I'm always like, why did you do that? Oh, that wasn't perfect. Oh, that wasn't that. And I finally had to tell myself, I'm done. It's about showing up. I'm never going to be perfect. There's always going to be someone who has a complaint. It could be about my looks. It could be about the way I talk. It could be about anything. But if I keep allowing that to hinder me, what happens? I'm done shutting up. I'm done letting the world tell me when, where, how I can speak. But what I'm not going to do is beat someone else, hold them to that standard, insult somebody else. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be present because that's what I want for myself, right? So if we want it for ourselves, why would we not treat ourselves the same way? We easily give it to everyone else. Now we're learning how to put it back to ourselves. Uh, and that doesn't mean saying, okay, here's grace, so I just don't have to do that. I don't want to do that. No, that's saying, I don't have the capacity today, but this is a priority and it's something I care about. So I need to make sure that I'm setting a schedule to make sure that it is getting accomplished, right? So, oh, Lord, I actually had someone on TikTok all the time. I have a couple of people that come in and, the first thing they'll attack is my looks or something else or my age. And I'm like, uh, I'm 44, but I survived more shit than you probably even understand. And you think that that's going to hurt my feelings. I have one feeling left and you don't get to have it. That's for everybody else that shows up and actually wants to listen in here. And I will share those feelings all day long. But for you, you only get one feeling. Um, and if you show up and you're willing to listen and not come on attacking people, I'll share with you too. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to hinder you because you're still here, which means you're listening to the message, whether you want to admit it or not. And that's okay. And if you want to quietly listen or you want to throw stones, when I block you, you got to make another account to do it, right? Like I learned that none of that stuff it's water under the bridge. I don't care. But if you hear the message and something sinks in, and people don't like to admit that, but I've got some haters over there that keep showing up every single time, and they show up because even through that, they're starting to like me every once in a while. They get the random like from them, and you're like, oh, I thought you didn't like me. I thought you didn't like what I was saying. Why is it sticking, bud? And that's why I just laugh it through, right? I don't judge, and I know we all have the same struggles, and some people set higher standards for everyone else and not themselves. Then I was the opposite. And it's okay. Finding the balance is where we're trying to get it to, right? So I stopped selling wrinkles. Survivor, yeah, they're warrior lines. It doesn't even matter. And to be honest, you haven't lived if you don't have wrinkles. Where are the smile lines, right? We need those. You see how tiny my eyes are? I smile, they disappear, and I used to get picked on all the time, and it used to be one of those things that I would be embarrassed about. Now it's like I smile for a living. That's all I do. Some of the other parents at the school, when I go to pick up my daughter, they make fun of me. They're like, "Hi, Smiley," because I'm like. And some are like it's a compliment, some are like it's laughing, and I'm like, I don't care. This is who I am. I love it. I'm joyful. I'm happy. When you survive a certain amount of things, they don't stop you. You're like, how can I get mad about that? Am I human? You're damn right I'm human. Do I people cut me off there and I'm like, damn it, you nope. And I'll be like, nope, nothing happened. Everybody's good. Nobody died. Thank you, God. Right? I check myself in the moment because we're all like, you're an asshole. You're this. And it's our first reaction. And that's okay. But checking in and saying, no, but that's not really what I think. So I allow myself to be present. And that's what I'm trying to teach people, because once we learn to alchemize emotion, we learn how to give ourselves grace. We learn how to say, oh, okay, I still got to be accountable for that. I shouldn't be saying that. I shouldn't be thinking that. But still saying, I'm human. Yeah, he was an asshole. Yeah, I'm allowed to be upset for a moment, but I'm taking it back, right? Like, I don't mean harm. Nothing happened. Everything's good. And I will literally go, sorry, I'm human. I apologize, right? And I do that. And I do it kind of have to make it not to be a joke, but to lighten it up, right? Because when you punish yourself for so long, God will never fail us. Welcome. Good morning. When you punish yourself for so long for all these things, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, we're not doing it anymore. I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. So how are we going to do it? We're going to start treating ourselves the same way we treat all those other people, right? The people you hold those doors open for, the people where you're like, oh, is that, let me help you carry that. Or, the children, when they fall, you're not yelling at them going, are you stupid? You're going to be like, it's okay. Let me help you back up. Try it again. You'll get better at it. That's how we teach our kids. That's how we teach those people around us. And that's how we lead for other people. So why are we not giving that to ourselves? So that's what I'm trying to get through everybody today is like, we can have grace and we can still be accountable. And our expectations, when we're realistic, like absolutely realistic, our expectations for ourselves are way up here when they should be somewhere here. And I'm not saying set your sights high. I'm not saying like that's not a beautiful thing to have, but we need to be realistic. And if we set, this is like the plus version. This is like if everything goes well, when there's days when you have that flow state and everything works perfectly, and it's just, you start with 2 or 3 tasks and you're like, I'm going to get these done today. And that's it. If I get them done, it's a win, right? And then you find, okay, well, I'm going to focus on this one. And if you're anything like me, you're like, I'm going to do a little of this, then I'm going to get, when I get stressed out, I'm going to go over to here, but I make it so I'm spreading out my tasks. But along the way, you look up and you're like, wait, I got 7 tasks done today, but I only told myself I was going to do 2. But it just flowed so easily, right? Your expectations were here, but you got to here because you weren't beating yourself up. But if every day you're striving for here and every day you can't make it, there's things happen, lives, right? And we're not doing that anymore. We're not beating ourselves up because we only made it to here. We'll get there tomorrow. And we're probably going to get there and plus tomorrow because we took that time and gave ourselves that little bit that we needed, right? Did I miss anybody that came in? I hope not. If I did, welcome. I'm so sorry. So we're learning how to observe it without attacking ourselves. Checking in. Did I get everything done today? No. Why? Was that too much? Was there a little level? Did something come up? Like when I had to go get my daughter. Did something come up and change the adjustment? Okay, so is there something we can fix tomorrow? Or is it just learning how to leave that space for adjustment so we're not punishing ourselves or feeling guilty about it? And then accountability without grace turns into self-surveillance and punishment. And we're not doing that, right? When we observe, I noticed I was overwhelmed. What was it that made me so overwhelmed? Was there something that I could adjust? Is it a trigger? Because we're still healing in motion, right? We're always healing as we go. And some ways we're good at, we've got it figured out. And there's ways that we just think we already know it all. And then all of a sudden something comes out of nowhere and it triggers us. And we're like, wait a minute, I thought I healed that. What's going on? But it allows you the space because just because you heal one trigger or one aspect of it doesn't mean you've healed the whole thing. And we don't ever know that until it's actually triggered. And that's kind of the hardest thing to understand. That's why my Fire and Flow series really, really kind of digs in on that. It talks about peeling back the layers, right? And it's all like the one tool. I'm always talking about the tools in your tool belt because that's what worked for me. And I'm not going to give you all the tools. I can only tell you how to start finding them, right? Because what works for me may not work for you. But along the way, if you think about it, a retract message. um, yeah, but along the way, when you understand, a lot of times it's just getting curious, saying why, how it's going, how am I feeling, what is my capacity today, allowing that space really allows you to check in, allows you to peel back the layers. We're not going to start with rage if something happens and someone crosses our boundaries, because we know rage might be a little extreme. So, but immediately you know how to peel back that layer. So it made you angry. So what does that reaction, anger is almost always based on a fear, right? It's a reaction to a fear. So when we learn how to peel back those layers, what does that mean? Am I overthinking everything? Oh, I think we're all overthinking everything almost always. Um, but we need to learn how to turn that overthinking into analyzing and understanding, because we can overthink. What if this happens? What if? But if we turn that what if to why do I worry about that so much? Why is this happening? Then we're not forcing that negativity. We're not manifesting more negativity. We're saying, why is that? How do I understand that? And we're turning it right into learning, inspired knowledge, the ability to learn, to ask questions. And you can't be curious and asking questions and seeking wisdom while you're worried and criticizing and beating yourself up. So when we get to that space where almost every single why did that emotion come up? And it's not why, oh my God, I'm so stupid. It's like, why? And why is that making me feel guilt? Why is that making me feel shame? Why is that making me feel fear? Right? It's just observing it and say, just like if you were watching someone else do it, right? Because when you step back and you can observe it, one, you immediately go out of rage and anger and all those other things, right? You go into curiosity. So you immediately change that energy. And when you change that energy, you create space. And you create space to say, okay, I'm not holding that. I can't be full of rage today. I can't be angry, but I can be curious. And then you ask the questions. And the first thing that's going to happen when you start trusting yourself is you'll get this little flash. It'll be like, just like that, this sentence, this something. It's going to be a reason, or a very direct, close reason to understand it. So when you catch that, and it takes a little bit of practice, you got to get used to it. Used to listening to yourself and trusting yourself, right? That's your spirit team, that's your guides, that's your highest best self, whatever it is that you want to call it, right? And the reason I say that is because until you know your own voice, you're not going to know God's voice. You're not going to know the angels. You're not going to know your ancestors. And there's many, many different ways that you can be spoken to. But if you don't know your own voice, you don't know what it is you're listening for, right? You're not going to know when it's somebody's projection, right? Those thoughts, those negative, crazy thoughts that go into your head, that's programming. That's media telling you have to be perfect. That's school telling you need this average and that, and you need to, that's, what am I trying to say? Stereotypes, there's cultures, traditions. And there's so many different cultures and traditions, and there's so many amazing things about them. But there's also negatives, right? Negative connotations, underlying messages that say this is not okay. But what makes it not okay? Why is that not okay? Right? Learning to understand the difference and trust that if anything's asking you to be curious and understanding with an open mind and an open heart, it's never going to lead you to the wrong path. If anything's about judging, hierarchy, where you fit in, if you're higher, lower, any of those things from somebody else, you're not on an even playing field, then it's not ever going to be God's voice. It's not ever going to be something good. There's a difference between create the boundary, step back, but we don't do something in fear or in anger, right? That's why when you learn your voice and you take that time to get curious and observe and ask those questions of yourself, you don't beat yourself up anymore, because immediately when it comes in, oh, you're so stupid. That ain't me. I know I'm not stupid. I know I'm a little tired. I know I got a lot of things going on. And I know that I need to give myself grace, because if those thoughts are coming in, they're not mine. They're being projected from all of the other things that I've been dealing with in life, that life throws at me, all the other struggles. You're only one person. We can't do it all to ourselves, right? We have to start learning to ask for help for all of us, right? Uh, Good morning, Eden. How are you? I hope you're doing really well. So the whole idea is to understand that, yes, we all want to do amazing things. We want to do the most, do the best. We want to be the best that we possibly can be. But we're never going to get there by beating ourselves up. We're never going to get there by hindering ourselves, by competing with anybody. Because that's the one thing that I will never, ever stress enough. The only person you should ever compete with in your entire world is yourself from the day before. Did I show up a little better today? Did I learn something different? And did I allow space to see all of the opportunities to learn that you've presented me today? And when you do that and you start asking those questions, you create a space of love, a space of guidance, and a space of trust. Because you can trust all these people out there, but if you don't trust your own self, how are you going to step forward? The idea is we want to step forward every single time in faith and in clarity. Like, I know what I'm doing. I may not know where I'm going to end up, but I know that each step I'm stepping out in love. I'm stepping out with good intentions for the highest of everyone I encounter, right? I'm asking for patience. I'm asking, and trust me, we all have to learn patience. I am the queen of being impatient. So you're never going to get judgment from me, okay? But at the end of the day, learning how to say, I know I'm impatient, so I'm going to take that extra moment. I know I struggle with this. 12:12 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. I know I struggle with this. I know that's something that hinders me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start taking those things, and it's going to sound really weird, but it's a good practice. When you want to drive a little faster, slow down, move over, get behind someone who's slower than you. Yes, I know it's going to irritate you. If you're anything like me, it's going to irritate the crap out of you. But when you learn how to do it, and I'm not saying do it all the time, but just learn how to start doing those little things. Somebody's walking slow, instead of pushing past them, or trying to walk around, slow yourself down. Slow yourself down so you're at that pace, and just look around, right? Be a little more present, and you'll be surprised the things that you see, right? These little weird pictures, the birds flying around. There'll be something that catches your eye because you were more present than you were before. And sometimes it's just saying you got to slow down so you can see the guidance that's coming. It was 12:12 on the clock. We're talking about alignment, right? We're talking about learning how to be present and available without beating ourselves up. We can still be accountable and peaceful, right, at the same time. We can still set our expectations and say, we want to be all the way up here. This is where I want to get. But I don't need to do that every single day. I need to know that some days I can say my expectations are only here, and not beat yourself up or feel guilty for it, right? So the whole idea is when I observe it, right, I noticed I was overwhelmed. I noticed my nervous system was already stretched. I was not feeling great. The ability to do more is just not, I can't do that today, right? And then I noticed rushing makes me shut down. I can't find the answers. I can't spit them out properly. I can't say what I need to say. I can't find the words, right? Because my body goes, me personally, but I think mostly everybody, when you get to a certain space, you go into survival mode. And when you've lived in survival mode, it will run your whole body, your mind, your mental health, everything right to the ground. But when you get into that survival mode, no matter how much you're trying to say, it doesn't come out properly. You can't say it. You feel rushed. People see you're anxious, and they're less likely to listen or understand. So sometimes it's just that simple, like, yeah, I'm feeling really dysregulated right now, and I don't understand why. It's okay not to understand why. We're just going to go. And yes, if you're out in public and you don't want to do that, do something, right? I always have these little things where, I talk with my hands, so that helps a little bit. But sometimes it's just tapping your hand, right? If you're sitting there, if you cross your arms, you just tap your elbows. It's just about getting yourself to be present and calm down. And learning how to do that creates space for you, right? It allows you to say, okay, this is not life and death. I'm not going to die. If I don't get everything done today, I'm not going to die, right? I'm not going to lose my job. I'm not going to, I'm doing what I need to do. But do I need to set myself that high where I'm running ragged? Now I can't sleep. Now I'm over anxious. Now I have all these things that I don't need to be dealing with, right? We don't want to do that anymore. And we're learning how to take that guilt out of it. We don't need to feel guilty for things. We're allowed to say, I don't have it today. Especially when you're doing things by yourself. If you don't have a support system, if you don't have a team, if you don't have all these things, family, friends, and listen, the people that do, amazing. And like, never be upset about that. It's fantastic. You couldn't ask for greater gifts in this world. But if you don't have it, learning how to say, okay, I don't have it today, and I just need to rest. When you do 30 jobs a day and you're trying to figure it out, learning how to give yourself that grace instead of beating yourself up or creating that stigma that says, I have to do it by myself. Okay, yeah, we know you have to do it by yourself, but do you have to beat yourself up while you do it? Do you have to maybe do as much as 12 people? Maybe you could just today only do as much as 10 people. Maybe tomorrow only 8. Like, the idea is learning to say, yeah, okay, I know I got to do it by myself, but that doesn't mean I can do everything every day for the rest of my life. There has to be a space where we get to reset, right? There has to be that space. It took me 42 years to learn. And then the last 2, and I'm 44, so like I'm still learning. Don't get it twisted. When I tell you these things and I teach this stuff, I only teach it because I walked through the fire so many times. I had to learn time and time again. And is this repeatable? Does this work? Can I come back to this? Is this a tool that I can put in my tool belt for when that comes up, right? Because life can be really great and calm 1 minute, and the next day everything's just gone to shit, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Learning how to say, okay, do what's important, figure out the priority, and start from there, right? Carrion, is that your name, Carrion? Hopefully, if I butcher your names respectfully, I don't mean to. I believe much respect is deserved in a name. However, if I don't know how to say it and I butcher it, if you tell me how to fix it, I'll do my best. Otherwise, we roll with it, okay? So yeah. And then when we're being violent to ourselves, right? I should be able to handle this. Remember, I say shoulda, woulda, couldas. I say that all the time because those are the ones that really, really create that negativity in our brain. And those are the things that create, people try to say that's being accountable, but it's not. That's saying that I didn't stand up to somebody else's expectation, to some expectation, which is usually your own, but that you set for you that was unrealistic, right? Because realistic allows space. And if we don't have that, we're not doing good. Hi, Tommy. How are you? I hope you're doing really well. Welcome. And Tamina, welcome. Okay, so learning how to say, things that aren't, I should be able to do this. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You're human. You're human. You can't do everything on your own. You're not Iron Man. You're not a superhero. Well, you are a superhero, to be honest. That's my own personal thing. I believe every single day that we show up for ourselves, we're superheroes. We overcome every single problem. And if you're still here, you're still breathing, no matter where you are on the spectrum of life, you're a damn superhero because you show up, you give it a chance, and you figure it out. Doesn't matter if you got a belly crawl through the mud, you figure it out. And that's what matters. We all want others to be accountable. Yeah. And you know what? I used to be that victim mentality. I don't know who Spade is, and I don't tell futures. I pull cards. Sometimes I give advice, but one advice I will always give is we don't pull into anybody's energy. That's like me going to your house and peeking in your curtains. If we have a contract together and you ask me to do something for you, I will always do that for you if it's for you. But I will not go and peek into somebody else's energy that has not asked for that. That's a universal law. And when I'm done my thing, if you're still here, I can ask a question for you. But if it's about somebody else, I'll never give you an answer because it's not my business. And I don't agree with it. I wouldn't want it done to me, and you wouldn't want it done to you either. So I believe in universal law, and every action has a reaction. That's not something that I like to play with, respectfully, right? I can always give you advice, and I have lots of it. I have a lot of lived experience, but at the same time, I have to respect people no matter where you are, and um, it's just not a respectful thing to do. I wouldn't want it done to me, so I wouldn't do it to someone else. All right. So, but if you're here at the end, I will absolutely ask, as long as you're not asking about somebody else. So, yeah. So, what I want to do is want us to understand is information helps us adjust. Punishment makes us disappear, right? So when we observe and we ask those questions, we're waiting for the answers. We're seeking the answers instead of allowing them to punish us, to box us into this corner. We're actually opening ourselves up, and it's 12:21 on the clock as I say that, which is mirrored reaction, right? It's many other things, but the mirror of the numbers says it enough. When you are beating yourself up, that means you're constantly chaotic, you're upset on the inside, which means you're going to mirror that out, right? And when you mirror that out, that could be being short with a customer service worker. That could mean beating yourself up. That could mean honking your horn at somebody for it's you're mirroring it outward, right? Because that's just how your body reacts to it. That's normal. Which, when you do that, what do you think is going to mirror back to you? It's going to be their reaction, which is going to be 9 times out of 10 negative. You're just completing a cycle of negativity, of anger and anxiety. But when you learn to stop and observe, you're checking in with yourself. Now it's calm here. We're not perfect. There's always going to be things, but we know how to check, and we know how to bring ourselves back from anxiety, overwhelm, defeat, anger, all of those things. Wait a minute. It's only me. But why am I feeling that way right now? And you bring yourself back to calm. That customer service person that might have been having a bad day, you learn how to say, it's okay. I see you. You have a good day anyway. You know what they're not going to do? They're not going to cuss at you. They're not going to be mean. And they're going to probably be close to not crying, being like, oh my God, somebody's being kind to me. Because you don't know what they were dealing with before, right? And in turn, they're going to mirror that back. And if they don't, the next person will, right? When we allow that space to check in with ourselves, we create that calmness. We're alchemizing. We're in motion, doing all the things that people are like, how do you do that, right? How do you do that? Well, I got curious. I asked, right? And the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, it might take 10 times before you get good at it. But once you do it and you start doing it on a regular basis, you create that space. And it's the moment you create space, you stop aggravation. You stop that self-depreciating negative thoughts, right? And now you double time it, right? Because when you check it and you're like, I don't think that's the answer. But I am working on it, and I am going to learn, and I am going to listen. Now you've made it positive, right? So you caught that negative immediately. Done. Self-aware. That's a win all day long, just being self-aware. Second, now we're going to reframe that. But I'm learning. I'm trying to understand what that means. Okay, you're affirming your greatness. You're affirming what you need to learn and understand. And when you do that, you're double timing it. Now that negativity has nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go. It's got to be released. And then you make room for all the new information, the good information. And that's what I really want more people to understand. That's alchemy in motion, which we'll be talking about February and March. Because I think that this year, once we can learn how to peel back the layers and understand, that was the Fire and Flow series, understand the feelings, why they're coming up, how to peel back and get curious with it. When we understand that, learn how to give ourselves grace in the grind, because we're always grinding, but we have to learn how to give ourselves grace. And then, of course, be accountable. That's what this month is about. We're literally learning how to do that, be accountable, but give ourselves grace. Then February and March, learning how to pull it all together, how to pull from this when I need it, how to understand this, because now you've got that whole tool belt. And that means in any situation, in any scenario, life and death or not, right? You know how to bring yourself to a space of calm. Survival is there for survival. Okay, if somebody's got a gun to your head, it's hit or miss. You don't know what's going to happen, but diving out at them probably isn't the greatest idea, right? There may be other ways to handle it, but survival is that space for emergency. It's not meant to be run on. It's not meant to be punishing ourselves with. It's meant to say, okay, this is an emergency. I got to get my crap together. Boom, and leap, right? But you don't need to live like that. And when you live like that for so long, you take away from that space where you are allowed to see there's another option than life or death. There's another option. Oh, look, there's this pathway. And if I try this and I take a step here, it opens to this path and this path. And I learn this along the way. And look how empowered I am now, because now I know I can do this and I can do that. And I learned this too. And look at the people that I met along the way. All of these wonderful gifts that come along with being able to take yourself out of survival and understand I'm still accountable, but I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to trust myself to understand that I didn't have it today. And I understood that. And I'm going to say, I love myself enough to say, it's only me. And if I want to do this to the best of my ability, I can't do this today, but I can do something else. I can get some other small task done, but I don't have the capacity today. But I'm going to make sure that it's a priority. It is a priority. So I want to make sure that I'm scheduling it and I'm setting it up and I'm making sure it's a priority, right? But allowing that space and without punishing yourself is really what I want to teach people. And I want them to understand that the expectations we set for ourselves are 99.9% of the time so much farther than we would expect anyone else to do. And when we do that, we really do hinder ourselves. We need to start as children, right? Like, especially when you're learning how to do this and learning how to understand that it's okay to not be perfect all the time. It's okay to show up half-ass on certain things, but the things that matter, we're not doing that anymore. And if it matters, you're going to take the time so you can show up wholeheartedly, because that's what you believe in. And if that's the person you are, why would you want to do anything less, right? Welcome, DK. And then, look, imperfect showing up. Like, I'm talking even before my notes. Sometimes I don't know why I take notes, but I get so passionate about this stuff because I had to walk through the fire. And you can literally go back to my posts and stuff from 6 months ago. If I told you just in the last 6 months the crap that I went through, your brain would be like, what the hell, right? And it's been years. I've been working on this my whole life, but that's when I say we think we're healed, we think we understand, and then something sets it off or something else happens and all hell breaks loose. And those were the times. I talked about it a little bit last time, but I don't like to talk about my trauma as like it's a negative thing. We all know trauma is trauma. But 6 months ago, I guess it would have been July. Out of nowhere, we lost our place. She was 6 at the time then. I lost the place. I had nowhere to live, lost all my stuff. I got some of it to storage, so I didn't lose everything. But I was in the middle of building a business. I had to lose half the stuff that I had accumulated, made, all that stuff. And shelters weren't having it. I wasn't about to traumatize my kid, who's already scared, and the transition, the craziness, it was a lot. But I had been doing the right things. I have been working my butt off for a couple of years and just taking loss, hit after hit after hit after hit. Every time I tried to get stability, something happened, right? But it was because I was meant to keep moving. And I had to learn that my stability was here. Okay. If I'm stable here mentally and emotionally, it doesn't matter where we go. Our home is where we are, where we're safe. And knowing that everything that happens, I'm going to find a way through it. I'm going to overcome it because God's looking out for me. And the reason I say that is through all of the losses, no matter what I lost, me and Grace were always safe. Money always came exactly when we needed it. Everything we needed happened. If we had to lose something, yeah, it kind of sucked. Well, you're building business, you had to lose some of the stuff you built and made. But at the end of the day, it wasn't something that was needed. And the most important thing was we had us. I still had my business, my creative ideas. I still had the things. I could still rebuild that stuff, right? And learning that that was less important than my daughter and my safety, right? And our stability. So when all this happened, I'm beating myself up, going, I don't know what to do. I've done every single thing. And when I tell you I'm resourceful as hell, I'm resourceful. And they're like, take her to a shelter and do all this. And we had been to a shelter before, and it traumatized my daughter. It was all kinds of chaos and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. It was in the summer. So we went camping for 2 weeks. Well, we're out playing at the playgrounds and going swimming and doing all the stuff. In the background, I'm still searching for a place. I'm still trying to get into the business program. I'm still trying to do all of these things, with no car, no nothing. But I don't give up. And I had to say, like, I don't know what else to do, God. I've done everything I possibly can. And just like that, we were about 4 days into our camping. I get a phone call. I got my place. I got my car. I got a car, right? It's an old car, but I got a car. I got approved into the business program. I got my business up and running. Like in 24 hours, I had my place, I had my car, I had all of my things. I was able to get it out of the storage unit. I was able to move into the place. It was just craziness the way it came. And then I got in the program. Now I actually have my business up running. My website I had to build by myself. And I had to just keep going and say, like, don't beat yourself up. You don't know how to do any of this. So you have to just, you have to learn, and then you have to take your time, and you have to do it at whatever pace you can do it. And when I started giving myself that grace and saying, I've done every single thing I can possibly do, the way God showed up for me, it was like, even trying to describe it doesn't even give it justice. The way the puzzle pieces fell into place. God's like, you did everything that you were meant to do. Now watch me work. And that's literally what happened. So when I preach this stuff, I don't preach it because it's just something that I think. It's something that I know. When you learn how to show up for yourself, and when you trust yourself along all of the way doing these things, you create space. You're able to listen, and you're able to understand, I've done everything I could possibly do. The rest is not up to me anymore. But I can't worry about it anymore. I can't beat myself up or punish myself for something that I had no control over. I didn't do anything wrong. And I was still continuing to do the right thing instead of punishing myself and beating myself up. And when I say that, I'm saying that so you understand that when you take that space and allow that space through all of this, you can say, no matter what, at the end of the day, I made it. I did what I could, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go. I'm going to enjoy the time with my daughter. We're going to roast marshmallows and cook stuff, hot dogs over the fire. And, we're going to go have fun. And, when it came in, yeah, I had to hustle because I had no help to move in. I had to, I just clicked on something. Hold on, guys. I can't trust me. Hold on. There we go. I kicked myself out, I think. Got it. But I had to learn, like, I'm going to have fun over here. And yeah, I had to hustle. I had to hustle to move everything in and get stuff out of the storage unit. And I had to move full-size couches and all kinds of stuff by myself. You learn how to maneuver things when you got to do it. But at the end of the day, I got it. I got it figured out. I got in the program. I got to learn things. And when I share the stuff that I share now, it's because I had to learn. My expectations for myself were up here. It was just, and when things failed or didn't go right, I could beat the hell out of myself. I could tear myself down to just nothing. And I would never do that to somebody else. Like I would literally never, I can't even imagine it, and I look at my daughter who struggles, and I cheer her on more so much apparently that she's such a cheerleader. And I used to say to the teachers, I don't know where she gets that from. Like she's such a cheerleader. She's such a good girl. She's always, I knew you could do it. Way to go. And they're like, have you met you? And that's literally what they said. Have you met you? And it never once occurred to me that she was doing these things because that's how I behave, right? And then I got to thinking like, well, I cheer all these people on. So why am I beating myself up? Why am I hurting myself? Why am I saying all these things? If people see me this way and I'm punishing myself all the time, I can't be that horrible. I know, right? And not just me. She supports everybody. She's just beautiful, absolute beautiful soul. But when we start to actually look at them and step back, and because I didn't notice it, I didn't think about it. And it seems kind of dumb in the moment, but you don't think about it. But when you see your child and she's over there supporting other people and she's like, way to go, I knew you could do it. It's fantastic. And she's literally clapping her hands, getting excited. And you're like, where did she get that from? And then when you actually say, oh, she does get that from me. And yes, I did not know on my own. That's what I mean. Like sometimes how we see ourselves and how someone else sees us are two different things. And what I'm asking you to do is step back and maybe see yourself how somebody else sees you, how somebody witnesses you. Because 9 times out of 10, it's far greater than you witness yourself. And that's where we learn. Okay, accountability. Yes, we got to do these things, but grace matters. Not just my daughter, grace, the actual act of grace matters too. And loving yourself in those times really gives you that space, right? Welcome, Canada. So the idea is imperfect showing up still counts, right? We of course we want to show up perfectly, but realistically, it's not always going to happen, right? Release the all or nothing trap. This one's huge because when we start, if I'm not perfect, I'm just going to screw it up. And then we start spiraling into that negative, right? We're not trapping ourselves anymore. We're going to show up. And if it's messy and if it's not perfect, guess what? Anyone who's ever done any length of healing knows it's the messiest, grossest, just gut-wrenching thing that you could ever do. But it's also the most empowering, it's the most clarifying, it's the most beautiful thing that you end up with, right? um, and it's always happening. You always have to do it. uh, it's our responsibility, right? So we don't pass on all this negative stuff. So that mindset, those things, where I'm punishing myself, beating myself up, would I want my daughter to do that? No. Right? So why would I do it to myself? And it's learning how to reframe it. And when we see like, yeah, if would I want my daughter to say that about herself? No, never. Would I want my mother or my brother or even a random stranger, if you heard them say that, you're probably going to be like, that's not true. Maybe take a moment, right? Uh, and me, I'm one of those people. If I see something, say something. I'm not gonna go jumping into people's business. But if somebody's cussing out a salesperson, I'm gonna be like, hey, maybe give them a break. Uh, if you wouldn't want to be talked to like that, don't do that. I'm okay to call that out because I got a thick skin, right? We're not trying to cause conflict and we're not trying to beat them up or shame the person screwing up in the moment. We're just going to ask them to check in with themselves, right? Learning how to do that, we need to still do that first to ourselves, right? Um, so, yeah, we're releasing that trap. Welcome, Laura. And showing up imperfectly is still showing up. Accountability is about continuity, not perfection. Staying engaged matters more than flawless execution. We're not out here trying to be perfect professionals. What we're understanding is we're adequate, and as long as we're still learning and showing up and learning from each experience. If something's not perfect, okay, at the end of the day, that's it. How could I do it better? Not, oh, you screwed it up. Is there a way I could do it better? Let's learn. Let's do a little research. Let's listen to somebody else. We're not comparing to somebody else. We're going to listen because they have something that's wonderful that can teach us something. We're not going to be like, oh, they're better than me, so I'm not going to do it. No, they're teaching you something, and they're trying to teach you something that empowers you. And many people, especially on here, have so many great messages that when we take that time to listen to them, especially when they talk about their lives, when they talk about the things that they've been through, everyone is a walking testimony of what they've overcome. And when we start looking at it like that and showing up for ourselves the same way we would show up for someone else, we become heroes of our own story, right? We master our own universe. We master every movement, everything we do, but we learn how to let it flow. And that's really the best thing that we can do, because when you flow from that state, things get done, things move, nothing, you don't have to worry about it. And when lifes, you learn how to adjust, prioritize, and keep going, right? Detour doesn't mean stop. Okay. It doesn't mean you have to start over. It just means you pivot a little, take a couple side steps. You might even have to go back 2 steps, but you move forward stronger, happier, better, um, and more empowered, right? And also more compassionate for everyone that you encounter. So consistency comes from kindness, not pressure. Um, and then where have you quit things that you cared about because you couldn't do them perfectly, right? Um, when you start to think about that, how many things did I give up because I was worried about someone wouldn't like how I wasn't perfect, or someone wouldn't like how I showed up, or someone didn't do this? How many things did you stop? Or because you were worried about someone would judge about some talent you had, right? Um, Learning how to trust yourself and show up and do it messy is exactly where we become masters, right? Um, Nobody was perfect. And just like people that do content all the time, if you go back and you look at their, I hear them and I see them all the time. I cringe, look at my older stuff, and you're like, wait, why would you cringe? Because you had the balls to get up and do it. You went and you said, I'm going to do it messy. I'm going to learn as I go, and I'm going to take that chance. That means you believed in yourself, you supported yourself, and you showed up even when you were unsure, but you showed up. And the reason you're so good at it now is because God said, I see you. I see you showing up. I see you taking the chance. And I know at the end of the day, you have everything it takes. You already have everything you need, right? You have the ability to listen, to learn, to check in, to give yourself grace, to take time, to overwork those times you absolutely need to. But even though we should be doing that much less, but we have the ability to do that, right? And then learning to know the difference in between when we understand that they both can coexist at the same time. We create that space where we're like, I trust my next step, no matter what happens. At the end, I'm going to learn, I'm going to be better, and good or bad, God's going to lead me in the right direction, right? So if you look at it at the end of the day, if you follow, so like when I say I follow universal law, I love religion. I do. I love, but there's so many different ones. And I believe at the core of everything is absolutely the universal laws, right? Treat people how you'd want to be treated, show up with love, and just try to be your best self every day. And when we do that, we allow more people in the space. We're not going to judge. There's no way that you can tell me that any religion has this negative, we're going to hate people. Anything like that is not meant to be, right? When you allow for more people and say, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to think that everything you do is perfect. I don't have to like everything you do. That doesn't mean I'm going to dislike you, hate you, shame you, or make you feel unwelcome. We can still disagree and still love each other, right? And I believe that. I've been that way my whole life, but I love to learn, right? And I love cultures and I love understanding that. And I think that when we have those conversations and we get to learn all those things, that's why I like what Novelty and everybody's doing so much too, because you give that space, right? And you're asking and you're allowing people's beauty to shine through, their knowledge, their wisdom, their passions. You're allowing people to see what drives them. That's a gift, right? That's saying we don't know you yet, but we want to get to know you, and we're willing to hear you and see you. That's a gift, right? That's why I'm so excited, and that's why I was like, no matter what, because you had spoke to me first, and it was like, no matter what, you will always get first dibs, because one, you asked, but two, I believe what you're doing is genuine, right? The only intention is to promote people's beauty, right? What they believe in, and that should be inspired, promoted, supported every day of the week. That's just my own opinion, but I believe in that. I love what you guys do. And this whole group of people over here, especially on YouTube, the amount of support, the way you show up for people, you're my people. You're my tribe. No joke. Seeing everybody show up, and it doesn't mean you have to love everybody's stuff. It doesn't mean you have to think everything's perfect, but you show up and you listen, because even in those little spaces of time. Maybe there's only a tiny message for you. Maybe there's just one thing that's relatable, but there's always going to be something relatable because we all have the same goals. They may be different, but the end result, the goals, we all have the same struggles. And we all have the same inspiration. We have the ability to inspire other people because we're taking that chance, we're willing to listen, learn. And that's where that space is, where everyone can be welcome, right? And that's amazing. It's my favorite thing in this whole world. So I don't want to go into too much more of the giving ourselves grace. I think we really understand the point. I always overdo my notes because I always go off on tangents. I start talking about something and I like to tell story times. But I can't, some of my story times, I start talking about them and people, depending on what they are, especially if we're talking about traumas and things. The good thing here, you can't really see them. But I remember when I really started to learn that my stuff, some of the things I've been through was pretty harsh. I didn't know until I started telling people, just talking about them. Because when you go through the fire so many times, sadly, you become desensitized to your own stuff. And it kind of sucks. But like you could cry your whole soul out for somebody else going through something similar, right? But yourself is like, it's whatever, right? Learning to give yourself that same love is what matters. Hi, Zena. How are you? I hope you're doing well. So the whole idea of it is learning that same grace and that same understanding, because the things that seem not so harsh to you because you're desensitized, because you've been through so much crap, doesn't make it less appalling, right? It doesn't make it less painful. Maybe, yeah, you process the pain, but you understand how hard that pain was. So why would you want to continue to give that to yourself? And especially knowing that you wouldn't do that for someone else. We're just checking in those moments. We're checking in what I want to do. Does that feel like something I would say to somebody else? And that's the best way that we can do that. Because if you know in your heart that you would never say that to somebody else, we're never going to say that. I'm very sore. I fell at work. Oh, I hope you're okay. Get rest. Lay down. Put your feet up. If you're really sore, don't just put your feet up. Do what you got to do. Rest, relax, nurture yourself. Yeah, I'm older now, so when I fall, getting up is not as easy. That bounce back takes a little more time, okay? So give yourself that space. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning. Hi, Danny. I'm on rest. Move a little and rest. Yeah. Man, that's where the friends. Hey, can you help me today? I can't wait to have friends like that someday. All right, so almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. This is one of my favorite ones, and I have to remind myself all the time. Take some time to unplug today. Turn off your phone, shut down your computer, and reflect on your energy level. This is, I love, by the way, this is like how spirit confirms my mind when I talk about it, the things that I talk about, because they seem so minor, right? And it's because I'm taking small bite-sized things. These are small things, but the idea is when you learn how to process it, understand it, and do it, it's just a small little step, right? It's just a little curious why. It's this little thing that's so simple, checking in with yourself, right? How's my energy level today? These little bitty things, when you learn how to do them in motion, it doesn't stop you. It doesn't hinder you. It allows you to check in and say, I'm okay. I'm good. Okay, keep on going, right? But you're periodically stopping and saying, yeah, I'm starting to feel a little anxious, right? So now you're not working and stressing yourself out because you're checking in. You're allowing yourself that space. I'm the same way as with the lightning. Yeah, I know. You have to learn how to take that space for yourself and not feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about it ever. So yeah, reflect on your energy feel. How do you feel? And do you need to prioritize yourself more today? And I would be almost pretty certain to say almost every single day, you got to show up for yourself just a little bit more. And it may mean just be part of my teacup, but this is I'm at my computer at work. This is the tea I make, my gratitude tea. I drink it every day. And and I love it so much. But I cut up on my fruits, I dehydrate them, I do a lot of work. And that was something that helped me regulate my nervous system when I was in survival mode and I was so struggling. I didn't even know how to do it. And then it says it comes with a ritual, and it's really just learning how to be present. So when I made them, I'm so happy to see you. You really made my day. Aw, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I hope you're feeling better. Please take some rest. Don't, especially when you're in pain. It's so hard to um, get up and jump and run. Don't do those things. Just relax. Let things come to you a little bit. Uh, Order takeout. Like, really, take it easy. Find good takeout though. Don't order junk food or too much junk food. But yeah, just learning how to give yourself that space. It becomes really hard, especially when you have to do it yourself, right? When you're doing it yourself, it's a little more hard because you don't have that support system. And understanding when you don't have that support system, it's okay. It's coming, first of all. Second of all, if you don't have it, you got to let things go. You got to say, okay, I'm not going to do that today. I'm just cooking simple meals. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Uh, I threw my back out actually a couple of months ago, really bad, sciatica, and it had been a long, long time since that happened. But I did, and I made chicken nuggets and French fries for my daughter for 3 days in a row. And I felt like crap, and I was really trying not to beat myself up. I could not. I had to crawl to the oven. I laugh at it now, but I literally had to crawl on my hands and knees. I didn't do dishes for 3 days. The house was trash, and I did cry. I had to let myself cry because I was like really upset with myself. But then I was like, I was in pain, and it's like in process, learning how to say, yeah, okay, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And I can't do it. I can't do it, right? I just don't have it. And learning how to say it's okay, right? The dishes are still going to be there. It wasn't 5 weeks, it was 3 days, but still, there wasn't much food. It was snacks, and of course, there's always fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's not like I was hindering my daughter in any way, shape, or form. She could get that stuff for herself. But learning how to say, okay, you can get an apple out of the fridge, you can get this, and not beating ourselves up, right? Um, I learned how to give myself grace in motion, right, at the time. And this is really, it's the biggest thing that we can do. And this one is Earth, which is nature and nurture. I'm going to read this one because it's really good. What number is that? 14. Also, angel number 14. That one's a really good one, too. Angel numbers are like my guiding light. They have saved my life. That and affirmations are the things. There's nobody in this world that can convince me anything different. They saved my life. They helped me no matter what happened through the thick, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I've learned to love the good, the bad, the ugly. I'll tell you the shitty stories just as well as I will the good stories. And I learned not to have any shame, okay? Because did I do things that were not perfect? Of course, we all have. Am I going to allow it to be something where I have to hold my head? No, because the lessons that I learned are going to help people move forward. Am I going to talk about them all the time? No. But if there's somebody that's struggling and that story or that message is going to help them relate or understand, then I will share it. But I will share it with no shame, right? Because at the end of the day, it taught me who I am, right? I understood, and I've learned how to apologize. And I don't care if I know you, if I see you again 5 years down the line and I know I was out of line, I'm going to take that moment to say, hey, I know you may not even remember me, but I was an asshole, then, and I really do want to just apologize. I didn't know better, but I do now. And I just want to let you know. And when I tell you I'm accountable to that level, I am always accountable to that level because I never was given that, right? When you don't get something like that, you try to make it a point to be that person because that's what you want, right? That's what you want. That's how you would want to be treated. So if you lead by that example, in turn, you can only hope that people are going to show up the same way. You can't guarantee it, and you can't hold it against them if they don't. Uh, but I'd rather lead by example than be running around chasing, trying to be like somebody else. All right. So this one is Earth. And this deck, the creator of this deck, they did all the artwork themselves. It's just beautiful. And these are Oracle decks, by the way. I only do these because like you'll see when I read them, the messages for these are just absolutely beautiful. I can tell you your future, but if I do, it's going to change your future because as soon as I tell you, you're going to change your action. One change, one thought change, one action, one something changes the trajectory every single day of your life. So this is a healing one. This one's Earth, and I love these. I'm in awe of these cards just because of the artwork, the time, the words, just there's people that draw stuff and do stuff. This is truly absolute care put into something, and I hope to someday create something this beautiful, right? All right, no one can hold us the way nature can. Mama Nature is a powerful healer and transmuter of dense energies we may be holding on to. Just as she takes in our out breath and returns our bones to fertile soil, so too can she transform our woes if we can allow ourselves to surrender, to lie in her grassy arms or be embraced by her branches. Just as plastics and oils cannot be broken down in the earth for renewal, when our emotions become hardened and impenetrable, catalyzed into something more destructive, they cannot be transformed into the compost that we grow from. Experiences we may categorize as good or bad are a part of life. Death and rebirth are a part of the natural cycle that allows for the continuation of life. Creating something through suppression and control that will not break down will only bring us farther out of harmony. Nature is all around us. Notice her and know that when you feel like no one else can hold you, she can. Spend as much time in nature as possible and do what you can to preserve it. And the theme is grounding or finding our roots, right? Reliability, physical healing, nurture, creating solid foundations. And that's learning how to ground it, learning how to understand, learning how to pause. And yes, go hug a tree, go sit with the tree, go put your feet in the soil. I know if it's winter, I wouldn't suggest hanging out in the snow with your bare feet right now. But get a plant. This was a gift from my neighbor. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe. Move, Tiffany. Jesus. There we go. See, you see it back there. This is my pet. I talk to it every day. I sing to it every day. I say good morning. I'm not a great singer, but I still do. I say good morning. I check in. The point is, if you can't always be out in nature doing all the things, putting your feet in the soil, bring the nature to you, right? Have those moments. Sit and reflect. Take that time in the middle of the chaos to say, okay, I'm feeling really anxious. Go put your hand on a tree. Take this energy from me, right? Please take this energy. They already process all our carbon dioxide. They process it and give us fresh air. They're going to process those emotions, that anger, that stress. That's what their job is to do, right? And the sun creates that for them. Go sit in the sun. Let the sun just feed on your face, right? Just let it just bake you for a moment, right? I'm not saying for all day, but for a moment. Feel it. Feel that release. Understand that nothing matters. If you can breathe, if you can feel it, it's going to be okay. Everything you do. And if you make a mistake and you screw up, you're going to learn something, right? And when you learn it, you're going to be better at it. You're going to be smarter and you're going to be more compassionate. And I love that it came out. 000. This is the angel number. You don't get to see it very often. And I love even more that the first thing that I saw today when I woke up, I think it was by Out With Key. I want to get, good morning, Tracy. How are you? I'm pretty sure it was Out With Key, but it was something about resetting, and it's okay to reset no matter where you are, whatever time of your day. It was the absolute perfect message that I could have woke up to. And it was right up my alley. So, and that was the number, the Great Reset. So we all have messages to share, and we all have different places on the spectrum to share them. But when I tell you they all align and they all connect, it's It's the truest thing that we could ever imagine. And that's why when we come together and we find those little pieces here, those little pieces there, they understand that the potential is limitless, right? We all learn a little bit from each other. We can create big things. All right, limitless potential, transformation, serenity, trust, achievement, release, potential, success, and triumph. This is a powerful reminder that anything is possible. If you can dream it, you have the ability to make it a reality. What someone else has can also be yours. Stay calm and trust that what is meant for you will always come your way. Release any tension and embrace relaxation, knowing that your potential is boundless. Taking that moment to reset, taking that moment to say, it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter if I'm perfect. It doesn't matter if I screwed it up. I showed up. I didn't do things perfectly. Something messed up. Something happened. But I'm here and I'm not going to let it overwhelm me. And I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to blink just like that. Reset. I'm back to zero. I'm good. I'm calm. Everything's good. And I can step forward just like that. I always reset my mind. You have to reset your mind. If you don't take that time to unplug, to understand, to check in on yourself, to give yourself that reset, your nervous system will become dysregulated. Welcome, Lion Mentality. How are you? You'll definitely become dysregulated. Then you become in survival mode. Then you go all the way back to snapping. You're a ticking time bomb, right? Monica, welcome. And we don't want to do that anymore. We did that. It's not here. Ontario got lots of snow. Yes, I'm in BC. We got none. Thank you. I shouldn't say that. We kind of miss it. It's been a while since there's been snow, but understanding, find that space and just one moment, one check-in, one little, it's okay. It's okay to not feel okay. I'm not mad at myself. I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to hinder myself, right? When we get to that space and we start saying, it's okay to take a breath right now. If somebody's showing up and they're agitating you, we're not going to be a ticking time bomb anymore. Okay, this person's agitating me. This situation is agitating me. Can I get out of it right now? Can I leave and just move along? No? Okay, well, I'm going to take a breath. I'm at work. I obviously can't leave, but I'm not going to stay in this corner. I'm going to take a breath, not let it upset me, and I'm going to move somewhere else, right? Go do something else. There's always a way around it without putting yourself in a position where you're going to do something that's going to upset you or going to make you lose your honor, right? How you feel. But if you do, and you're in a situation and you get upset, apologize. And if you never see that person again, apologize to the universe. I promise you, the universe is going to send it exactly where it's needed. I do not. I'm going to reflect on myself, and I do this like picturing myself an image of a river. If you see the content that I post, the pictures and stuff that I post them, and they're just little one-liners with a caption. And the reason I do that is because I want you to see and feel what it's like to understand that choosing a new path doesn't mean you have to start over. They still lead to the same place, right? We're building a house one brick at a time, right? Our stable foundation is us. It doesn't matter where you live, what's going on. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It doesn't matter what's going on, right? When we have that solid foundation, that's checking in with ourselves, that's understanding, that's knowing our worth, knowing our capacity, and that changes from day to day. And when we do that and show up like that, our foundation is strong. It's unshakable. Nothing can shake us. Nothing can dissuade us from something that we're going to do because we've checked in. We understand we're stepping forward from that solid foundation, and we trust that no matter what anybody thinks or feels about the situation, we know in our heart and in our minds that we're doing it with the intention of the highest best good for all. So that ability to know that and check in with yourself and have that clarity when you step forward, you don't step forward in fear. You're not shaky. You're not worried. You're confident because you know, even if I screw it up, I'm not going to be punished. The universe will show me a better way because I'm not ever going to do something that's going to intentionally hurt or harm somebody because that's not who I am as a person, right? So you already know who you are. You know what you believe. You know what you're going to do. And even if it's not perfect, you know that your intention was always good and you trust that. So you're going to step out confidently, boldly, and you're going to trust it. You're going to step out in trust. And trust is the greatest currency you could ever have when it comes to God. Simply Debbie, hi, good morning. How are you? Okay, so I just have a couple affirmation cards because, like I said, angel numbers and affirmations are my, I live by them. They're my guides. At the end of the day, I get the amount of angel numbers that I see in a day is just appalling sometimes because there's always a message there, and I've learned how to see it. And sometimes, I mean, I was watching a flock of birds the other day, and they were like, they're supposed to be in the triangle, usually the way they go. And it was literally in the shape of a 3, the way they were flying. And they flew like that forever, but it just flew over completely over my head. And it was in the complete shape of a 3. And then when they got past me, they went into their triangle. And it might have been just them going into formation, might have not. But 3 is about alignment, right? As above, so below. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, put it however you want to put it. But it's about alignment, right? The past, the present, the future. But the only thing is the present, right? Learning how to be there. And I was rushing around trying to get things done. And that 3 flew over and I was like, check in. And that's what I did. Okay, get present, check in. How am I feeling? What's going on? And sometimes it's because we always want to push ourselves. We always want to get 1,000 things done and all the things. And we hold ourselves to this big thing. We don't want to do that anymore. And most people don't want to do that anymore. So if I can just help with little things, and those little things that you start noticing, that's your angels just saying, we see you. God sent us. God sent us to give you that hug that you needed, to give you that little lift up when you're feeling stressed, that little moment to check in. It's just the idea to say, hey, I matter, right? And when we get to that space, seeing those little nudges, they're beautiful. And it's like a hug. It's just saying, hey, we see you. We know you're showing up. We know you're trying. And if they see you and know you're trying, how can you not see you, right? So that's why I live by them. I could tell you story after story how they've saved my life. And same with affirmations. There was a time when I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror and say affirmations. There was a time where I had to lie to myself, and it was painful. But I kept showing up, and I kept doing it, and I kept showing up. And each time I held myself a little bit higher. I walked a little prouder. I allowed space for myself to cry and check in with myself and feel what I had to feel. And it was gross. It is gross. Healing is, I don't care what anyone tells you, it's gross. It's never going to be neat and pretty. And it's not linear. It's however it has to happen. And when we start understanding that the randomest thing can trigger us into something, but knowing how to check in that moment and give space. Okay, that's a trauma that wasn't my fault. Whatever happened was not my fault. But that's okay to check in with myself and say, okay, in this moment, I feel a little triggered. Why? Can I understand what it is? And 9 times out of 10 is something that's so far back that was meant to protect you when you were a kid. It's just showing up to try to protect you again. But when you acknowledge it and check in with it, you're not triggered anymore, right? You're fixing the triggers as you go, which is why I talk about alchemy of motion like I do. And it takes practice, right? And you're not going to be perfect, and we're not punishing ourselves for that. So those affirmations are the things that really, in those times of struggle or chaos, they creep in, and they're amazing, and they speak your greatness. Because of all the things you could speak in this world, you could be cussing and spewing venom all you want, and just create more of it. Or we could speak magic and beauty and just gentleness, love and compassion. And if we speak our greatness into the world, the universe is going to give us opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to show exactly how great we are, right? We already have been great to this point because we survived all of it. Now we're overcoming, and we're walking with our head held high and with love and with compassion. And we're affirming our greatness. We're not worrying about anxiety or fear anymore. And I'm here for it. Welcome, T. Okay, so this one is, my genuine desire to serve clears the path for me to step into my purpose, right? When you want to serve others, when you're doing things, service is one of the greatest gifts you could bestow on the world. That's what Jesus came to do, right? When we understand that service just allows our own self to shine through, but it allows us to help others along the way. But in turn, we help ourselves, right? Because it teaches us the ability to see the entire spectrum, not just one end of it, right? We see it all. And when you learn to not judge at any end of the spectrum, it doesn't matter where you fit in on it. What matters is you see the whole spectrum, right? And you love the whole spectrum. And that's all we can do. And when we do that, we just become whole different human beings. I accept the gifts I've been given as a high service to the world. Whatever my gift is, whatever your gift is, right? Whether it's showing up in service, whether it's a little extra compassion, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing, whatever it is, you share it, and you share it with pride, and it's meant for you to share it. If it's a gift you're shy about, it doesn't mean you have to share it with the whole world, but there's going to be people that you share it with that's going to inspire them, right? You're going to inspire their greatness, and you're not even going to realize you're doing it because you're just learning how to trust yourself and show up for yourself, and you're speaking your greatness into the world. Welcome, Pam. There's no such thing as a mistake. This one's my favorite. Everything happens in divine order. I am being guided to learn and grow. When we understand that no matter what happens, the chaos that came in, the anger that I ring light screw my picture, sorry. When we understand all of the different ways that these mistakes are just teaching us, we learn how to take the silver lining and not hold on to the negatives, not hold on to all that stuff. And when we speak it into existence, every opportunity, the good, the bad, the ugly, and usually the most growth that you have and the most learning and the biggest leaps come from the pain, the grief, the ugly, right? So if we start shying away from it and we hide it and we hinder ourselves from the greatness that we're meant to learn from it. So when we speak these into existence, especially in times of chaos, right? There's no such thing as a mistake. I was meant to learn something here. Teach me what it is I was meant to learn. I promise you, the universe is going to send you exactly what it is you're meant to learn, whether it's a video with an idea. The Great Reset video, I'm going to have to go comment on it. I have to go find it again. I did comment, but I have to comment again that was the number that came out today. So I believe that's probably going to be a lot of messages on social media today, because what I always catch from that is that theme. It's okay to check in. It's okay to understand that every breath you take at any given moment, anytime you make one different decision, one little action, one different choice than something that you did before, you immediately change the trajectory of your life. You change the ability to learn, grow, and could completely pivot anything the whole way you even thought you were going to go. And allowing space for that and giving yourself love and compassion through that is being accountable. It's absolutely being accountable, but it's also giving yourself grace and understanding that I will learn the lesson, and maybe it'll take me a couple times, and it's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I'm going to trust when I can't handle everything all the way. I'm going to learn to say, okay, what is it that I'm missing? And I'm going to start taking moments to listen for the answers, right? It's just small little things like that in your tool belt. But once you have them and you can use them in motion, you know you can never fail. That's your foundation, and it's as solid as a rock, right? That's what I have for the day. I am thinking about, I don't know if it'll be this week. Because I have so many workshops and stuff I have to do. But what I was thinking is, I do like to do card pulls and stuff for people, because I know that there's always people that have questions and curiosities and answers. I will never tell you your future. So if that's what you think that I'm doing, you're never going to be happy with it. But I am thinking of maybe doing maybe one day a week for a couple hours, coming and doing like just general card pulls. We're not doing paid readings. I don't like to do that. I do have a guidance on my website. You can book guidance. I think they're in 1 hour things, and that's more about guided action steps. How can I show up better? those kind of readings, and they're one-on-one, right? So it's more about question answer, those kind of advice. It's not about me telling you your future, but it's just about how to show up so you can understand um, that your future is your journey, and whatever that looks like for you, you can't find it if you're hiding behind everything else. So what I'm thinking about is doing one day. It'll be just 1 or 2 hours. Come on, and just free card pulls for people that come on. Question and answer, some things like that. And if that's something people would be interested in, I would like to do that. I always do my guided monthly. You were just thinking this yesterday. It's gross. There, there's no nice way to put it. It's gross. Okay. Um, I can be happy. Like yesterday, what I was that church yoga with Goga. I was there and I was listening to what was her name? Anastasia. She's a beautiful lady telling her story, and I'm crying. And when I tell you, I'm blubbering like a baby, and because it's strength and journey. It's like those stories, you need to hear the bad to understand the good, right? And I healed through my stuff, and sometimes I'm so desensitized to the things I've been through, that and I have been through extreme amounts of things, but so it's you. There's this, like, it is what it is. I don't know any other way. You've healed it. There's still going to be things there, but you've healed it as much as you can. You've been through the fire so many times that it's like, it is what it is, right? It's not good or bad. It just is. But when you hear somebody else go through some things in those spaces, it just breaks you right to your soul, right? Because you can feel that. And like, nobody deserves that, right? I don't care who you are, what you did. Nobody deserves that kind of pain and punishment or struggle to have to go through life. On the other side of that, the way you come out, the strength, the compassion, the ability to maneuver through things, so like you're a walking miracle, right? And when you go through struggles and times and pain and things like that, to that extreme, and can still come out with love, and can still see, this is not me. I'm angry, I'm spiteful, I'm bitter. This is not me. This is not how I want to live. This hurts my heart. And say, okay, well, the only way to do that is you got to dive in. You got to feel through it. You got to sit with it. You got to feel it to heal it. All the cliche sentences, but you do. And it's the only way through it. Like, the only way past it is through it, right? Um, and that's why so many people don't do it, because it's just devastating. It's hard. It's soul crushing. It's you're literally being shattered open, and you're choosing to do it, right? Because you've already been trying to piece the puzzle back together, and your shape is now this crazy broken down thing with holes here and there, because you know you had to figure out, it's just been patched together with band-aids. Now you're choosing to break it back apart and piece it together one by one. That is a kind of a kind of courage that not many people have. And that's why even in the painful, even in the gross part, you have to celebrate yourself. You have to take those moments and say, I'm a fucking superhero. I'm a literal superhero, because I'm showing up for this, because I don't want to pass it to my children. I don't want to pass it to those people. I don't want to walk out being bitter and hurt and hinder somebody else because of something that wasn't my fault. But it is my fault to heal. It's not my fault. It's my responsibility to try and heal it. And many people don't. So when you do, and no matter how painful and gross it is, even while you're crying and you got boogers running down your face because it's not cute. Celebrate yourself. Come out of there, go put yourself in a bath, lay out, cry in the tub, do what you got to do, but don't ever punish yourself, because what you're doing is literal superhero work. Someday when my big dreams, these are my big, big far off dreams. it'll be called the Superhero Academy. That's literally, I had to tell myself all the time, you're a superhero. You're showing up. You're mastering yourself. Uh, my daughter thinks I'm a superhero. Why can't I think that of myself? Why can't you think that of yourself? Because you're showing up even in the grossness and you're making it through and you're becoming an amazing, better person because you took the time to do it. That deserves a whole celebration every single day. That's just my opinion. But um, that's what I have for today. I'm going to do, there'll be another live on Friday because this was my makeup from last Friday. Um, there'll be another one, and it's accountability. So that'll be episode 3. I can't remember what that one is going to be about. I don't want to lie to you because I don't have it pulled up. But this one was grace and responsibility can coexist. And the next one, it's going to be very similar. It's about understanding that we're not beating ourselves up, right? And each time learning what each thing means and how to use it in your tool belt so you don't beat yourself up and so you know how to check in with yourself. But that's what I got. I appreciate every single one of you guys for coming. You're amazing. I've always got stuff playing in the background, people's playlists when they're doing watch hours. If it's your lives, like the silent lives and stuff, I'm playing them because I still comment on them, but I'm playing them so you get your watch hours. But a lot of the other content that you're doing, I'm making a point because I want to actually watch it and learn. So if it takes me a little bit of time to get there, I promise you I'm getting there. I want to make sure that I'm commenting and kind of getting to know who you are and what you're here doing, because I believe that a lot of you people that have come into my life, especially on YouTube, are people that have the same beliefs and the same ideas and the same goals. Not exactly the same, but how you believe in things. I think we align in a lot of ways, which means we all have good things that we can share. Well, my parents approve my relationship with Sahil. Honey, I'm going to tell you the best way I can possibly tell you. If you have to fear your parents approving, first of all, check in why. What's the name? Sahil. Is Sahil a stand-up guy or girl? Are they honorable? Are they going to show up properly? And have the conversation with your parents. Just have the conversation. If your parents don't approve, it's because they're worried about you. They want to make sure you're safe and protect you. So maybe just let them know, hey, you taught me how to be the person I am. So maybe learn how to trust. Those conversations are what create that trust. You foster that space where your parents give you the space to grow. So don't worry so much about the answer, yes or no. Worry about making sure that communication line is open because you need to trust them along the way and they need to trust you growing up. So learning how to communicate is going to be the one thing that will save your life. I appreciate you guys so much. Anastasia, is she here? I was just talking about her from yesterday. Did she come in? Spell check. All right, I gotta get off here because I have to. Oh my God, 1:30. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get my daughter. See, I could talk forever. Oh my God, I got 10 minutes to get my butt in there in the car and go. But I will. There'll be one more live on Friday, and we'll see about maybe if I'll do a post, and if people are liking it, I maybe will come and do carb pulls one day. Also, I'm gonna post a video here, just a little short. Because when I get to 100 subscribers, for everyone that wants to be involved, if you comment your name when I draw them, I want to send a little gift basket. And then maybe when I go to 250 or whatever, but each little stage, I want to send a gift basket of the teas and stuff that I make. On my website, you can buy them at any time, but it's just a thank you. And it's something that I make handmade. I love it so much. And I love sharing what I do. So I'm going to make the post today. It'll just be a short. I got to make sure I have comments turned on. I don't know how to do that. So y'all might have to help me, but I want to do that. And if you comment on that one, when I get to 100 subscribers, I'll be doing a draw and I'll email, you'll have to email your address and I'll mail it out to you. But it's something that I really want to do. I love sharing what I do. I give it to so many people you don't even know, friends, family. I always have things that I make for them, and I hand them out. I share my teas because, yeah, eventually I want to make big money and be rich and all the things. But those little gifts, they're meant to be from the heart, right? And I'd love a homemade gift any day of the week over store bought. So that's just who I am. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for all your support. I appreciate you. I got to get off here or I'll talk forever. I love you guys. Have a good day. I don't even know how to end this thing. Sorry, guys. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's what I want. Thank you.